Okay, it's been a while since I uploaded to this channel, and I'm gonna try to get into the habit of uploading to this channel more often. So, here's something I want to talk about, because this is something that has been really pissing me off, and I know other people have been talking about it, but I want to give my take on it. So, a little backstory. So, I'm on Twitter, I'm scrolling around, and this woman keeps popping up on my Twitter feed. I don't know who she is, I don't follow her. And she's some kind of like cosplayer gamer or something like that. And every time her post would pop up, it would fucking irritate me because of something she does that I find to be very hypocritical. This concept of blackwashing is really starting to get out of hand, and I'm tired of it because for years now, I had to listen to people talk about, oh, whitewashing, it's so terrible. Why are we taking characters and having them be played by white people? This is very disrespectful. Then, fast forward a few years, and I gotta see people constantly blackwashing white characters, or not even just necessarily white characters. They will take like Asian characters and fucking blackwash them, whatever they can get their hands on, and try to claim it as their own. And then when you call them out on this, they say, oh, what does it matter what their race is? Like, what the fuck? Like, these are the same people that back when Scarlett Johansson played fucking Major Kusanagi, they threw a fucking hissy fit over that. But now, apparently, you can race swap a character as long as it's a white character being turned black. That's okay. That's fine. That's inclusivity and representation and diversity. Okay, fuck you. So here's a first example of what I'm talking about with this woman. So she streamed herself playing the new Pokemon game, ZA Legends or whatever. And she's over here making a big deal about how apparently they race swapped Nurse Joy. Now, I'm not going to get into the lore of this and explain why this makes no fucking sense given what we know about Nurse Joy, because all Nurse Joys are identical twins, so it'd make no sense for them to have different skin colors. But whatever, the main thing I want to focus on, and I took some screen caps, but there were people in the comment section saying like, oh, this is amazing. Black girls can finally cosplay as Nurse Joy, as if that's something that they couldn't already do. And they're over here talking about how, oh, this is amazing, this is historical, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, where have you motherfuckers been? Pokemon has arguably been diverse from the very fucking beginning of the franchise. Yeah, it didn't always have a bunch of black characters, but there were black characters there. And then you had like obvious non-white characters like Iris, Brock, the list goes on. And there are black characters such as the gym leader from Unova, the first one that you face. So what is this bullshit? And of course, we have to do this fake bullshit of, oh, this is like the first time Pokemon has ever had a black character, so therefore it's important. Like, I really hate that fucking fake accolade shit, where they want to try to forget about history so they can pretend that they're witnessing history. A perfect example of what I'm talking about is, remember back when they tried to pretend that movies like Blade and Hancock didn't exist, when they were talking about Black Panther being the first black superhero movie, or how they tried to pretend that Wonder Woman never happened so that Captain Marvel can be the first woman-led superhero movie, even though before that you had Wonder Woman, and before that you had Elektra. But they will forget and throw that away because they constantly want to have this whole, oh, this is the first to do such and such. And it's like, you're over here playing some low-effort corporate sloth that Game Freak shat out because they can't be bothered to put in the slightest amount of effort because they know Pokemon fans will just fucking buy anything. And then you got people like you that will sit here and cry and say that this game is the most amazing thing ever because, oh, they took a character and made her black. Really? That's what we're doing? And this is why franchises like Pokemon will continue to suffer, because there's no reason for them to ever put any effort into anything. And again, it's so annoying to me that I have to deal with these people pretend that they actually give a fuck about this shit, when you know, give it like a few months, a year from now, when the next Pokemon game comes out, people like this will ignore this game and pretend that this never happened, because they're so race obsessed. They're so obsessed with this identity politics bullshit that they only look at everything through the lens of, oh, my black skin color, because they quite literally see the world through the lens of black and white, just not the black and white you're thinking of. And it's so shallow. It's so pathetic. Like, I can't imagine living my whole life where my race is my whole identity and the only thing that I care about. But here's what I want to focus on right here. And you sometimes need to focus not so much on what's being said, but what's not being said. The thing I want to focus on here is, notice that they're saying not that this is amazing because they introduced a brand new black character, but it's amazing because they took a character that was originally not black and made them black. And you could tell how lazy it is. Like, first off, they couldn't even be bothered to put in any amount of effort in this, because this Nurse Joy doesn't even look like Nurse Joy. If she was not in the fucking Pokemon Center, nobody would think that this is Nurse Joy, because it looks nothing like her. Again, Pokemon lore states that all Nurse Joys are supposed to look exactly identical. Well, this doesn't look anything like the old Nurse Joys, so it's stupid. But again, the main thing that this woman is crying about and thinks is so beautiful is not so much that they're introducing black characters, but that they're taking non-black characters and making them black. This goes back to the sad state of so-called black characters, because rather than just inventing new characters for black people to enjoy, they'll just take a non-black character, make them black, and say, here you go. Essentially, it's a hand-me-down. Like, imagine if you were a kid and somebody just took a toy, spray painted a different color, and said, here you go, that's yours. Like, that's essentially what this is. This is nothing but hand-me-downs, and it blows my mind that people think this is okay. But these people are brainwashed. They're taught to believe that it's okay to race swap characters if they are white, or if they are so-called not people of color, even though, while you can argue that Nurse Joy could be of different ethnicities because of the different regions, as we know it, Nurse Joy is supposed to be heavily implied to be Asian, like a lot of the Pokemon characters. But whatever. And again, it's this fucking bullshit that I can't stand of, if you take a non-white character and make them white, people will pitch a shit fit. Like, would this woman be crying if, imagine if you will, if Nurse Joy from the very beginning of the series was a black character, and then they all of a sudden turned her white? Do you think she'd be crying and saying, that's amazing? Or do you think she would be calling it what it is? Black erasure. Because that's essentially what this is. It is erasure. And what I find even more infuriating about this woman is, this is like her whole belief. This is her whole gimmick. If you go through her Twitter, again, she fancies herself a cosplayer. And she has all these cosplays, right? And I've seen about like 7 or 8 of her cosplays, and they are always of non-black characters. She goes out of her way to only cosplay as characters that are non-black and actually making them presented as black. Now, you could, maybe if you were forgiving, make the argument of, well, she's cosplaying as some of her favorite characters. What's wrong with that? And on the surface, I would say there is nothing wrong with that if that's what's going on here. But I swear, this woman goes out of her way to only pick characters that are not of brown skin complexions, which confuses me. Because even if I give it to you that she's only just cosplaying as her favorite characters, really think about that for a second. every character that I've ever seen her cosplay as is a character that is not of quote-unquote her skin complexion, characters that don't look like her, as she says. So that means that this woman is essentially insinuating that none of her favorite characters that she cosplays as are black or a quote-unquote person of color. And that I find very odd. If your whole goal is representation and inclusion, instead of cosplaying as characters that arguably technically don't belong to you, why would you not be cosplaying as, actual black characters? That's what has me confused, because it's not like there's a shortage of so-called black characters or characters of color. There are plenty of characters that she could cosplay as, but she goes out of her way to cosplay as characters that are not traditionally black, like Bayonetta or Boa Hancock. And it's worth noting that her cosplays look like shit. Like, yeah, some of them look fine, but her cosplay of Boa Hancock looks fucking horrible. She barely even looks like Boa Hancock. So not only are your cosplays low effort at the worst of times, but you have to also insult people's intelligence by being a hypocrite. Now, I want to make this perfectly clear. I don't care who you cosplay as. You can cosplay as whoever you want. My problem here is hypocrisy. Because unlike this woman, I don't think that a character needs to be the same skin color as me for me to be able to cosplay as them. But she seems to believe that apparently throughout the entirety of Pokemon's existence, so-called black people could never ever cosplay as Nurse Joy. Up until now. Like, that is really freaking ridiculous. Like, think about the actual racism in that you go up to a young girl or a young teen that maybe loves Pokemon, and they say they want to go as Nurse Joy, and they tell you, and keep in mind, we're talking in a hypothetical scenario where ZA Legends hasn't been made yet. And you say, oh, well, you can't cosplay as that character because that character is not the same skin tone as you. You're going to have to cosplay as Brock or Iris or something like that. Like, can you imagine the absurdity of that statement? And it's the hypocrisy that pissed me off. Again, I don't have a problem with who people choose to cosplay as. I once cosplayed as a fucking girl once for a convention. Believe me, I don't give a fuck. But here's the thing, though. Again, if you're gonna sit here and get involved in these fucking, racial identity politics, because that's what this woman is. She's a race baiter, and I feel like she purposefully does these cosplays just to piss people off. That's what it comes off as to me. And again, I'm tired of it, because I want you to picture, for 5 seconds, if this was a so-called white girl, and she was cosplaying as a bunch of people of color. Do you really think that people would see this as cute or amazing? I severely doubt that. And that is what I find so irritating about this. It's mainly the double standards and the stupid racial politics that I cannot stand. This shit infests gaming, it infests anime, and I'm tired of it. I can't count how many times I've gotten into arguments with these tourists in the anime community that try to say, oh, Bleach is the first anime to ever treat black characters with dignity, and then they'll show characters from Bleach that aren't actually black, and it's like, what the fuck? And essentially what you're doing by doing crap like this is, you know how people always want to try to claim, black erasure and stuff like this? Well, this actually is erasure. Every time you fucking take a character and race swap them as black, people say, oh, what's the big deal of their skin color? Keep in mind, you all that believe in this identity politics shit, you are the ones that made a big deal about how representation and people should only play characters of their race or ethnicity and crap like that. You're the ones that made a fucking big deal about this shit. But if you want to know the answer as to why it's fucked up, it's because of erasure. And again, there's also the element of it's kind of low-key disrespectful to say, you're not good enough to have your own characters, so we're just going to take these characters, repaint them, and then give them to you. It would be like if, like, imagine if your parents, they give you a car, right? And they promise you a brand new car, but actually what they did is they just took an old car that used to belong to one of your family members, spray painted it a different color, and then said, here you go. Would you really be happy about that? Because instead of getting a new car, you just got somebody's hand-me-down with a new paint job. That's essentially what this is. And again, it's freaking bullshit, because these are the same people that would cry black erasure if you took a black character and made them white. And what this almost makes me want to do is, like, go around and start cosplaying as a bunch of non-white characters and put it up on Twitter and see how many people think that shit is cute or that shit is cool, because it's not. Now, sure, you can make the argument that people should be able to cosplay as whatever they want, and for the most part, I agree. But if you're gonna fucking come at me with this blackface, whitewashing bullshit, then fuck you, because the door should swing both fucking ways. Why is it okay for this woman to cosplay as a bunch of characters that are not black and then just cosplay as them? And I swear, she goes out of her way to do this. One of the only cosplays I saw where I kind of wasn't too bothered by it was her cosplay of Ahsoka Tano. And that's only because, like, you know, Ahsoka's an alien, like, whatever, I guess. Sure, you can do that. Although, let's be real, the only reason why she's cosplaying as Ahsoka Tano, it's not because she's a Star Wars fan or a huge Ahsoka fan, it's just because a black woman is playing Ahsoka Tano in that shitty Ahsoka TV show. I guarantee you, before that Ahsoka TV show, she didn't give a flying fuck about Ahsoka. And as an ex-Star Wars fan, that personally annoys me a little bit, is because there's one thing I don't like, it's fake fans, but I'm not going to get into that here. The main thing I want to focus on is these bullshit double standards with racial politics. I'm sick and fucking tired of it. Okay? If it doesn't matter, then shut the fuck up about whitewashing. And if you're gonna say that fucking blackface is racist, then realize that it swings both fucking ways, you fucking assholes. I'm so frustrated by this crap, because again, if there's one thing I cannot stand, it is hypocrites. I don't like hypocrites. I don't like double standards. And going back to the whole erasure thing, back when Guilty Gear Strive came out, there was a big stink about how they tried to retcon a character that was a cross-dressing femboy as trans. And the femboy community rightfully got mad at this, and so did the whole of Japan pretty much, where they said, this is femboy erasure and this is cultural theft. And again, it goes back to what I was talking about. Instead of inventing a new trans character, they just take a character that was a cross-dresser and say, have him say that he's a girl, and boom, you got a trans character. Low effort, lazy. And a lot of people were hurt by this, and a lot of trans people were pissed by this, saying like, what the fuck? This is fucked up, this is erasure, you just took a character that didn't belong to us and say that it's ours. Again, it's the erasure element that people don't like. And I've spoken with people that have said that they now hate Guilty Gear, they don't look at Bridget the same way anymore, because essentially what the creator of Guilty Gear said is, fuck you femboys, your representation doesn't matter. And of course, like, there are some people within the trans community that think that this is okay, even though they don't realize that they're erasing representation that belongs to other people. Again, if representation matters, why are we going to take representation away from other people? That seems very unfair. I liken it to like a bunch of siblings that want a toy, and instead of sharing the toy or getting them new toys, it's like, nah, here's one toy and you all are gonna fight over it. Or you take one toy from the kid and give it to another kid and say that's theirs now. Well, of course, the other kid is going to be upset about it because you took their toy away. And that's why this is fucked up. It's erasure. And this isn't just a racial thing, because that's why I mentioned Guilty Gear Strive. Because it was bullshit when they fucking tried to retcon Bridget as trans when he was always originally a femboy. And now, fucking bitch-ass Game Freak wants to be over here like, Oh yeah, Nurse Joy, yeah, she's black now because reasons, even though this game is supposed to take place in the Kalos region, which is supposed to be France, and we're even gonna have her speak French, you know, that's like a mostly European country. But yeah, we'll just say that this character is black, even though it's not internally consistent with our lore. Fuck you, Game Freak, you lazy fucking hacks. And yeah, that's kind of just my thoughts on this. I might make more videos about this. I know there's a lot of people right now talking about blackwashing and how it's a big problem. Like, you can look back to when, like, they made L from Death Note black. That was a huge fucking problem. You got the whole stupid Ariel thing and so on and so forth. And again, it's all bullshit. And maybe I'll leave some links in the description if you're interested on this topic that talks about some of this stuff. But that's it for Politics Kills, and I'll see you guys around next time.